Hi guys, welcome back to Steve's Shed. I'm Steve. Today we're going to be getting on with the second part of the Cortina exhaust, so let's see how we get on. Right then, so this is where we got up to last time. I had the over axle pipe, and then I had to make this little set of bends with the Jetex 90s and tacked it all together. So the first thing I need to do is probably clean up these welds before I go any further. So cue the music and let's get the grinder out. Then we join me back underneath. I've put the modified section on now so you can see that there. Nice and tight. I think I might put my mock-up prop shaft back in as well, just to make sure I'm clear and everything. And we'll go from there to putting the back box in the right position and on. So when I bought the universal exhaust kit from Hornet, they sent loads of pipe and it was absolutely brilliant. I had more than enough to do what I needed to do, and luckily for me I had enough left over so I could actually mock up a prop shaft so I could make sure 100% when I made the exhaust everything would be out the way. Perfect. Right, let's crack on with this back box. Right, so all I've done here is I've just cut off the original bracket, just so I can get a bit more room and get the exhaust a bit higher, get it out of the way. Right then, I've roughly got this where I want this now. I mean, it's a little bit Heath Robinson, but it looks like everything all clear, and it's roughly where I want it to come out. So I'm going to fire up the MIG welder, tack it in, and then see where we go from there. Right then, well that's that welded together. That's not coming off anytime soon. Right, like I said, I'm quite happy with the placement of this now. It's about as good as I can do. And good enough for the girls' wee date. So, next thing on the agenda, hangers. Let's try and get this thing hung up. I've got one to do there. I've got some 10mm rod, mild steel rod, which I'm going to bend up, measure. So I've got one there. And then I've also got one to go on the resonator just down there. So let's see how we get on with that next bit. Right, sorry for the light in the background. So what I've done is I've gone out and I've bought a few of these, just, you know, sort of generic, reasonably small rubbers. Quite strong, quite sturdy, should be alright, should last the distance. And I've also been out and bought some of this 10mm mild steel solid bar, and I'll bend this up with some heat and see how we get on. Do a bit of measuring in a second, and hopefully we'll be able to make something for these to go at the end of. See how we get on. Alright, so join me under the car at the resonator. Now I've got this, well you can see that. Got this bracket here, which comes out at that sort of angle. Now what I'm sort of thinking, if I get my arm in it, is I want this to go up like that, at that angle, so we can get a bit better light on this. Come this way. It's better. So I want this to come up at that angle, and then I can get this rubber to hang off of here instead of down here at this angle. So if I straighten this out, I should be able to attach another piece of rod somewhere along here, and then that rubber will join off of it, and that should do for that one. So let's make it. Right, so what I want to do is try and straighten this out here, so I can have this up at a 90-degree angle, well, I'm going to say 90 degrees from where it is, and I can still retain this. If not, then I'll just use this piece and bend this up, but it'd be nice to keep it. So let's get a bit of heat on it and see what happens. Right then, so now I've straightened that out. As you can see, what I want to do is just take a measurement from here to here, and then what I'll do is just see roughly how much of that 10mm bar I've got to bend up and shape just to make this mount work. See how we get on. Right, so what I want to end up with is a piece that goes like that. The exhaust rubber will sit here, and then this go up, and then this top piece will weld to the car, and then the exhaust rubber will sit here. Excuse the drawing, and then the hanger will sit in through there. If that makes sense. Don't know, but yeah, that's what I'm aiming for anyway. Right then, so whilst doing this, I had a little change of heart. Instead of doing it that way round, what I've done is instead of going up like this, I've come across, because I think that's going to be easier for me to A, weld onto the car, and B, in future, put the rubbers on. So you can see what we've ended up with here. Let's go and fit it up to the car, see what it looks like. Right then, and there we go. There's the middle hanger. Now I've just got to do exactly the same thing for the back box, but I'm not going to bother filming that because you've just seen me do this one. Right then, as I said, I wasn't going to film that one, but here it is all done. It's a little bit lower than I want, but I've got a couple of options to change that. So a different rubber, maybe even cut this bracket down a little, you know, turn this around. I've got a couple of options, that's not a problem, but as far as I'm concerned for now, other than a few welds to grind down, I am done with the exhaust. So, that being said, right, that's it for Steve's Shed this week. Thanks very much for sticking around. There isn't going to be any more exhaust videos. I've got a couple of bits to tidy up, as I mentioned, but hopefully we're going to move on to the body mounts, or maybe even putting the straps in for the radiator support, or should I say the radiator support straps. And yeah, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.